So Gloria shared with us in our call ahead of time of one of the struggles that she had around AIM statements, which is very similar to what I mentioned. She works at an IPA, and they have a standard intervention and things that they want practices to implement. And so they went into a practice with not necessarily an AIM statement, but this is the intervention they should do. And she got a lot of resistance from the practice. And so her question was, how do you work through an AIM statement? And how does she kind of walk this tightrope between, yes, I know I'm supposed to do what the practice wants, but they're like way off over here, and the organization is really focused on diabetes and implementing these patient education materials. How do we bring those perspectives together?
This is Aaron from Hill, and I think the best way to kind of overcome that obstacle is not to go out with your own agenda, even though and I can tell you Hill Physicians has his own agenda. I've just been successful going to the practice and actually holding a brainstorming session with them about what do they want to work on, and those are the things that I've taken back, and with most of my practices developed pretty much the AIM for them based on what they've told me, and then I'll go back and bounce it off of them again and kind of confirm and solidify that AIM statement.
I'll share while people are, you can chat in or unmute yourselves. I actually heard something from another, I think it was a Practice Transformation Network in Virginia, that they actually went out with a menu of an AIM statement. And so kind of like, here's what the organization, all the measures that we're working on, pick two, right? Pick a clinical measure, pick a utilization measure, and then let's create a third together that's totally what you want to work on. And so we have 3 pieces of our AIM statement that we're working on, and that way they've allowed some creativity and for the practice to drive what's important from their perspective and their priorities, while incorporating and having them choose of the long list of on the organization's AIM statement that there's at least a couple in common that they're working forward on together. So I thought that was an interesting idea to show up with a menu of choices. I think they literally had it like checkbox and they write in a blank. So it was a template that their coaches went out to their practices.
So I think Aaron's perspective was really important, that you don't go in with preconceived notions, and that you have to work with the practice to establish that credibility. And it may not be what they need to be working on in terms of what the larger organization or what the regulatory body says. I worked with a practice that one of the things that drove them nuts was that they didn't have a really good supply chain process for how to get things from the supply closet to the patient floor and to the patients in the beds. And that doesn't really tie with any specific metric, but it made their lives a lot easier, and we were able to get, and it was a really quick fix. We did this project in a day. It was a rapid cycle PDSA, and after that, we were able to get them to do whatever we needed them to do because they knew that we were listening to them, and that's really, really important. So thanks for sharing, Aaron.
One thing I'd add is that I've discovered that really everybody's working toward the same thing essentially. For the most part, our incentives are in line with IHA, and practices tend to choose the same things that the larger organization is interested in. So that makes it a lot easier too, to not go in with your own preconceived interests.